time is always on top. All right, so it's 4 months divided by 24 months. That's 500 is equal to a to the power of 1/2. What's 4 divided by 24? Well, that's just 1/6. Yeah, it is 1/6. And we can use a calculator now. What's 1/2 to the power of 1/6? And I got 0.9439 rounding up. 500 is equal to that. And just do 500 divided by this value. And you should get an initial value of 530 grams roughly. I rounded up. So this is just calculator work at the end. Once you, oh no, I made a mistake. It's 1/2 to the power of 1/6. Hold on, I'm using my calculator. So 1 divided by 2 to the power of, hold on, 1 divided by 6 equals that. Okay, so 0.5 to the power of, oh yeah, sorry, I made a mistake. I don't know my calculator. This is not 0.9. It's 0.8909. And then you divide it. So this is why it's important to not use your phone as a calculator. Mr. Khan is using his phone as a calculator. So yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I know how to use it sometimes. 561 grams. All right. So yeah, so you got the right answer. Let's do compound interest. I don't think we went over compound interest yet. So let's do a compound interest formula. And then we're out of time. Okay, so you need to know some things. Did I not copy the other one? I did not copy the other one. Of course. Foolishness. Is it working? Oh, it is working. All right. First, we'll take a look at this, and then we'll take a look at the other thing. Okay. This is the formula for compound interest. A is equal to P times 1 plus I to the power of n. This is tricky. This is important. Pay attention. A is your future amount, just like in the regular exponential equation. P is your principal amount or your initial amount, just like the other one. I is your interest rate. This is where it's important. I is your interest rate, and n is the number of compounding periods. And we're gonna talk about why this is important. All right. Here we have an example where you pass go and you receive $200. I'm guessing they're playing Monopoly. You decide to invest it for 4 years at 4.7% interest per year, compounded annually. How much will you have after 4 years? So my I value is 4.7%. But remember, whenever you're dealing with percent, you have to convert it into a decimal value. So this is actually 0.47. So divided by 100 to get the decimal value. We know it's 4 years, so n is equal to 4 times how many times it's been compounded. So in this case, it's compounded annually. So 4 times 1, which is 4 years, which n is 4. And the initial amount, P, is $200. And A is, we don't know what A is. So A is equal to 200 times 1 plus 0.047 to the power of 4. So it's very similar to the previous example. You just plug it into your calculator. That's really all you got to do. 1.047 to the power of 4 times 200, and you get 240. When it comes to money, you always keep 2 decimal places for the cents. All right, and that's the answer. 240.33. Easy stuff. I'm not going to do that question because that's kind of easy, but I'm going to do one difficult question here. That's this one here. But remember, I am not going over everything, and I mentioned this at the very beginning of the course that my 1-hour session, it's impossible for me to cover the whole unit or as many lessons as are supposed to be done in that day in 1 hour. It's impossible. So I'm picking and choosing what I feel is the best for you guys. And obviously the rest you have to fill in the gaps by watching the videos that I've linked, looking at the notes that I've linked, and looking at the solutions and practicing. All right, here we have Phoebe. She wants to buy a new guitar, so she borrows $650. She plans to repay the loan in 5 years. The bank charges 12% per annum. Per annum means compounded like annually, basically. So what does that mean? There is a new value when it comes to compound interest. It's my J value. This is where it's very confusing for students. And if you take, I think data management goes over this a lot. Oh man, I haven't taught data management in years. I can't remember anymore. Do they do annuities? Do we do annuities? Actually, we do annuities. Oh yeah, this is gonna help us in the end, in the very last unit. Never mind. So we're gonna do this. Okay. So A is equal to P. So this is the real formula. A is equal to P times 1 plus I over J to the power of N times J. And J is your compounding amount. So what does that mean? So J, if it's compounded annually, how many times does annually occur in a year? Once. So J is 1 in that case. If J is semi-annually, I want to answer from the class for this one. If J is semi-annually, how many times does semi-annually occur in a year? What does semi-annually mean? Numerically, how many times does semi-annually occur in a year? I want someone in the chat to tell me. Just a number. Semi-annually. What does that mean? How many times does that occur in a year? If something is semi-annually, it's occurring. Thank you, Anya. It's occurring twice a year. Perfect. Thank you, Eliza. All right. And what if something is compounded monthly? What is my J value then? Monthly. How many times does monthly occur in a year? Numerically. What does that mean? 12. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. So there. So J is kind of like your common sense term when it comes to these words that they use in business. So if they say annually, J is 1. If they say semi-annual, J is 2. If they say monthly, J is 12. How about another hard one? What if it said compounded weekly? What's my J value going to be now? If something says compounded weekly, what's my J value going to be? How many weeks are in a year? Yes. J is 52 because 52 weeks in a year. So that's your J value. Your J value is given by these words, these compounding periods. And there's a few others, which I haven't gone, which I guess I can quickly go over. Sometimes they can say compounded quarterly. And quarterly is just 4. That's kind of common sense. 4 times a year, and J is equal to 4 if it says quarterly. And the only other one that I think that is pretty common sense is bi-weekly. And bi-weekly means every 2 weeks. So if weekly is 26, bi-weekly would be, if weekly is 52, then bi-weekly is 26 because it's half of weekly. So these are just your common terms when you get into business and you're dealing with stuff. Especially if you take like economics or something, you'll deal with this a lot more. I don't know if your school offers that or not, but whatever. All right, let's start. So determine the amount that Phoebe must pay. So Phoebe must pay my principal, which is $650, times 1 plus, what's my interest? 12%. So 0.12 divided by J. Now, if it's annually, my J value is 1. So it doesn't, anything divided by 1 doesn't do anything. And my N value is 5 years, and it's 5 times 1. So once again, it doesn't do anything. So this becomes, if you plug this into your calculator, don't forget to do the brackets first. So 1.12 to the power of 5 times 650. She will owe $1,145.52. That's if it's compounded annually. What if it's compounded semi-annually? So now my J value is 2. So my equation becomes A is equal to 650 times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 2, bracket 5 times 2. So that's going to be 650, 1.06 to the power of 10. 1.12 divided by 2 plus 1, 1.06 to the power of 10 times 650. I'm going to owe $1,164.05. And the amount doesn't change too much, and we don't expect the amount to change too much because the only thing that we're changing, we're not changing interest rate, we're not changing the principal amount, we're just changing the compounding period. So this makes sense. So the amount changed, but it didn't change that much. And what if it's compounded monthly? Same thing, A is equal to 650 times 1 plus 0.12 divided by 12 and 5 times 12. And that is just 650, 1 plus, sorry, no. I'm just going to do the addition in one step. So 1.01 to the power of 60. And that will give me my value. Let me see what that is. 0.12 divided by 12 plus 1 to the power of 60 times 650. And that will give me a value of $1,180.85. And that is how you do an example of compound interest. Now we're out of time. I went way over, so I'm stopping now.